Good evening, fans from around the world. It's me, Afolabi, on Political Animals. We're here to discuss some contemporary issues on African politics. And I'm joined here by Warifa Marcos Lerato from South Africa and Mustafa Jinondu. You guys are very welcome.
Thank you. It's been a long time, but we're back. We've been busy doing African agenda, but now it's Political Animals, where we talk about very controversial things. How's everything, Afolabi, in Lagos?
Yeah, everything is fine. It's just that
Is it raining?
Yeah. It's been raining cats and dogs since 3 p.m.
Oh wow!
You know,
what about?
July.
I hope Lagos government doesn't have fights between the old governor and maybe Jakonde. Probably maybe Jakonde is coming back from the grave to tell whoever the government.
That only happens in Rivers State.
Government. Yeah. So and we're having problems in River State. But very quickly, how is everything, Warif, in Port Harcourt? Weather-wise, we'll talk about the political in a second. Yeah.
Everywhere is calm. It's just that the police they've taken over the secretariat of all the 23 local governments while they are waiting for the court ruling, the judge.
Court ruling, yeah. I call that a crisis.
Governor,
Go ahead.
You know, River State is just when it comes to politics, it's just a drama or a series. So the state governor yesterday sworn in the caretaker committee chairpersons of all the local government, but he said, for what I saw in Channels News, he said they can sit anywhere and have their meetings. So the local government, the caretaker committee chairpersons, they've picked their different staff so they can start working right now.
Okay. So we're going to go there, but before we continue with that, Warif, we'll say hello to Lerato, who's in I think Lerato, you're in. Is it Pretoria? Yeah, sometimes Pretoria. Sometimes I always want to say Durban. I don't know why. Pretoria. So Lerato. Yeah. So in Lagos, they have not in Lagos, in River State in Nigeria, the old governor decides that because he's the godfather of the new governor, that he can disrupt everything. I'm not saying it properly, but it's basically he thinks he still has power, and the new guy, because he said, I put you in, you have to do what I say. So right now the state assembly is closed and it's a crisis, but Warif will give us a 2-minute brief on what's going on what started the crisis. Then you can say what the latest developments are. Then we'll talk to Warif, then we'll go to Lerato to talk about the right wing and some other things. Okay, you can start with us with Warif. Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay, before this time, no problem. Before this time, the local government chairman, their tenure was supposed to expire on the 12 midnight by 17th of June. Then, by then, before their tenure expired, the state governor, River State government, they were supposed to have conducted a local government election so that as they're leaving office, the next one will just take over. But I can't really know I can't really say what happened. So they couldn't conduct the election for local government.
Sorry, Warif. I heard that the governor now said, "Oh, we can't do it because there's been too much tension. It's a state of crisis, so we can't do the election now." That's what I heard. I don't know if you heard that also, Warif or Afolabi. Yeah.
Yes. But
you're making an excuse because they're supposed to have re-elections to put all the positions, but he's saying it's a state of emergency. Continue. Yeah.
Now, that's Nigerian politicians for you. But the state government has already given out go ahead for the River State INEC to start the procedures for the local government election. So right now, what's happening right now? The current state of local government secretariat is that the police, they've taken over the whole the entrance. So nobody's entering while they are waiting for the.
But I heard people are having meetings. They're having meetings elsewhere. I heard they're having meetings elsewhere.
Since they've constituted the caretaker committee chairpersons, they can have the governor said they can have their meeting anywhere. Now, you see the whole drama, or let me call it the whole drama in River City, is just very funny, because from the onset, 27 legislators that were in PDP, loyal to the FCT, the former governor of River State, now the current FCT minister, they left. They went to show affidavits that they've left the PDP for APC. But now, because the thing is not working in their favor, somebody always acts a script when it comes to politics. So now the court is saying that the 27 members that left, they did not resign, that their name is still in the PDP. So legally, they are still members of the
PDP. That's because
it's not favoring them.
PDP wants to control that territory, and so PDP is also this is very disgraceful. But I think PDP is that's the party for Tinubu, right?
No.
I was watching a
Tinubu is
program
APC.
before. No,
Tinubu is
APC.
APC.
Okay,
APC. Why the FCT is PDP?
Oh yeah. So, but this thing is this: these guys are running, and their party drops them, but you can still run. It's just that you don't have the backing of your party. So it seems like everybody wants I always say it's all about money. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. River State is
the reason.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason why they are trying to still hit back at what's it called? To bring back the House of Assembly members to PDP so that they can impeach the governor. I believe they are acting on the script from higher authority or from their godfathers. And the governor.
Oh yeah, because if it's PDP, they can do it. Yeah, so it's maybe back to But
so
meanwhile,
at first they thought. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You continue. Then I'll ask my question afterwards. Yeah.
At first, they thought maybe they could impeach the governor while they were in APC. But since
before the
APC,
election,
yes, since the APC the APC people said they are not members of APC. So PDP saying that they are still members. The court said it, that they are still members of PDP because their name is in the register of PDP and that affidavit cannot stand. So the whole drama is just very funny.
It's ridiculous. I have two more questions for you, Wari. We're going to continue with this. Number one, is this affecting delivery? We know there's not a lot of services in Nigeria anyway. Is this affecting delivery of services and things? Because these guys have to pass bills for budget and everything, for electricity, for energy, for roads. Is it affecting this since there's a standstill in the government? Yeah.
No, when the 27 members they left, the remaining 3 members that were still in they sat and they passed the bill. But the 27 members, they are saying that the bill cannot stand. 3 persons cannot just sit and pass the bill. That's the budget and everything. So, but everything still boils down to the courts.
So, second thing, unfortunately, some people have passed away. They named 5 or 6 people, but we know it's more. Can you speak a little bit to that? They're not going to report all the deaths through clashes.
The only ones that was reported on the news is that a local vigilante guy and a police inspector that lost their life. So that's why the IG said he's not ready to lose any of his men or any Nigerian citizen. That's why I said both the outgone chairpersons and the River State government, they should just relax and wait for the court order. But until the court order comes up, they will continue occupying the
and I want to say something. Maybe Falabi can agree. We have to say that River State, to be honest with you, I'm going to give them credit. If this had been somewhere like Lagos or Enugu or some of those, not Enugu, but some of the states in the east, there would have been a lot more clashes and bloodletting, or in the north or in the middle belt. So thank God that it hasn't gotten totally out of control. Would you agree with me?
Sorry, let me just say something. The reason why it has not gone out of control is because majority of the persons in River State, both the indigenous of River State and the non-indigenous, they are in support of the current governor.
Okay.
So that's why, that's why there is no much violence. So since they are in support of the governor, everywhere just calm.
But there's so much tension. So thank you, Warif. We're going to continue this again because this is a double show. We have Warif, who's from Port Harcourt, and then we have Lerato, who's in South Africa, in Pretoria. So thank you, Warif. We're going to continue. But now, Lerato, so I think you wanted to continue about the right-wing government, right? Yeah. Right-wing rise around the world. Yeah. It seems, as opposed to the left. I tend to think that it's not really the left. There's no left right now. It's a central part, which is actually fascist, which is also part of the right wing. But you can give us some background on specifically what aspect you wanted to cover today, Lerato.
Yeah, man. I think generally what we've been experiencing is like a doubling down of right-wing politics globally, and I think, I mean,
very quickly, how would you define right wing? Then we can continue. You can continue. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's basically a global capitalist agenda.
Okay.
You know, that's trying to exploit resources, labor, people, states, and even
and it's also fascist. It's fascist. they're cutting down on freedom of speech.
It-
We're still lucky that we're still lucky that we're on YouTube. I can promise you that, because I said some things about Hamas. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, even towards the extent of sort of encroaching on issues of sovereignty, you know, particularly here in SA with the recent GNU conversation, where we've seen sort of like a hard lean to the right with the DA and markets actually urging political parties to form certain
Alliance. Yeah.
coalitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, very
And then
quickly. I
we,
heard Mackenzie from the PA say that, okay, I don't really like DA, but let's have some peace because of the market. That means that it's market driven. Yeah, that means it's capitalist. And they're saying for the betterment of South Africa. No, it's for the betterment of the shareholders and corporations. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
For sure. And of course that we're seeing like all these slight resistances. I think we mentioned India as well. And interestingly now in India, we heard this week that charges will be coming against the author Arundhati Roy.
Yeah, who's my favorite writer? And she's against nationalism and borders and governments, because they tend to be systems of control and power. And she's also a very good fiction writer. My favorite fiction writer who's alive. Continue. Yeah.
For sure. So
hold on. Why are they charging her? What are they charging her for?
I think it's a statement that she made, I think in 2010 about the Kashmir region, which has been disputed in terms of where it falls.
Yeah.
In terms of statehood, you know.
But they're coming after her now, and they're coming after her now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think now that the right wing has been threatened at the polls. By smaller parties and parties in the left wing, they also realize that. I mean, she's had a very strong voice, because I know some of her books have been translated into some Indian languages.
So for example, she's against flags. So for example, I said a long time ago that the U.S. flag represents slavery, black power, black oppression, the killing of Indians, but she's also against the Indian flag. And we have to realize that even in Africa, nations are built upon conquest and destruction. So even in South Africa, before the whites came, there were people who migrated from Congo and other areas and got rid of people. And they say this is one country, and they force you and they tax you, and then they tell you that, oh, this is our country, you have to be patriotic to it. But in reality, same thing with Nigeria. We all love Nigeria, but at the end of the day, we don't see roads, we don't see electricity, we don't see anything. And if you speak out against the Nigerian government, like the Igbo guy who was in favor of
Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah, they sent people to arrest him in Sweden. Can you imagine? Just for speaking your mind, because he was in favor of Peter Obi, and he was and also Delegiwa. That's another one. I'm not going to mention Delegiwa. I don't want to die. But also that guy from Sarawiwa, who was standing up for the Delta region with oil, or Ogoni people with oil. He was killed.
Kinsaro.
Sarawiwa. Yeah. So continue. Thank you very much for that. Continue, and then we'll we'll have some thoughts from Afolabi. I know Afolabi is biting his lips, saying, "When am I going to talk?" Continue. Sorry.
So we're seeing all those things. There's another statement that was made by, I think, an ex French minister, I think finance minister. Who was talking about how Macron had sort of let the country down by letting loose on the African states, especially in the Sahel region,
as if it's their property, as if they own those countries.
Exactly. So there's all these sort of conversations that are now coming out in the open. In terms of what the far right wants to do.
And this is why people like Donald Trump and Le Pen and the lady in Italy, what's her name, Meloni, the lady in Italy.
Sure.
Yeah, they're against immigrants and blacks, but it's because the people that are in power, like Macron and co, they're busy spending money to go fight Russia over Ukraine. They're busy spending money to support the Israeli government in bombing people in in Palestine. But their citizens are saying, "Where's the bread? Where's the electricity?" Like you said, France lost its colonies in Northern Africa, and now they're suffering. So what happens now is that there's a even further right movement to say people were sorry. Same thing in America now, where we have immigrants coming across the border from jails in South America because the borders have been opened because of the cocaine trade and everything, and there's violence in America. So people are saying, "Oh, no more immigrants, no more immigrants. We hate people from Latin America." So this is caused by U.S. government, France government, and Britain government by causing violence in other countries. Then when they come into the borders of these countries, people start to hate the people who come from there. What are your thoughts, Lorato, about that? Yeah, I think it's kind of in line with what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's all those issues propping up, and we see it. I mean, more of the influence is also seen in more attempted assassination plots against someone like Traore.
Oh yeah,
Like
Traore,
Captain Traore.
and there was a coup attempt in Congo, and also the president in one of, I think it's Slovenia, he was almost killed. The Slovenian president. Yeah. And in Argentina.
Those are some of the signs that we're seeing of these global sort of outspurts. And I think we were having a conversation earlier about how Russia now is showing in Korea, but maybe you can talk more to.
I'll talk about that. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about that. So I'm going to in a minute, but I'm going to continue. Is it me? I think there's an echo somewhere. Is it you, Afolabi? Yeah.
No, it's not from my side, though.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about what he mentioned, which is important. But one more thing, Lorato. In France, Macron said that if you vote for the left or if you vote for the far right, our economy and the markets are going to go down because Macron is in trouble. So the communists and the far right are not working together because they're like, why are we spending money on war? We're about to start World War III. France wants to send troops. They want to send troops to Ukraine to kill Russian people. And Putin has said, if one French soldier or American soldier kills a Russian person, the world is going to end. And he's not joking.
Wow.
And I know what he means. And I don't blame him for saying that because this is a battle between Ukraine and Russia. Why is Macron there? Then he's telling the French people who want to rebel against him, no. You will be poor if you don't vote for me and the markets will be bad. Because he wants to continue holding the market, which is already in place, which is, I'm not against capitalism, but I'm against the type of capitalism that we see in which we pay taxes and we build the world from our country. And you send money for wars, but you can't even send money for healthcare, for people in poor neighborhoods who need help, for electricity in Nigeria, everything. Very quickly, Lorato, can you speak to that in 30 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, as we sort of kind of wrapped it up last week, that this hardening of the rights agenda is putting social justice issues at risk.
Yeah, and you know what it is?
Whether it's, I mean, even in Europe and in France now, we're seeing people up in arms about how taxes are being used.
Yeah, it's 419. I'll break it down very quickly because we have to move on. The people in power are making money off of war and pain, and they're not representing their countries. They're representing war and pain. Now, very quickly, so what you were saying, so now Russia and Korea have become friends, and China is going to join them. And Russia says that if anybody attacks Korea, Russia is going to attack that country with nuclear weapons. If anybody attacks Russia, Korea will do the same. They're doing it because the U.S. and Britain keep on saying they want to go to war with China and Russia and Korea. And the U.S. helped South Korea to fight North Korea. So what I'm saying is that then they'll blame these guys as being evil. But it's like if somebody keeps coming to your house and beating your children and they say, we're going to beat your children, then me and my friends like you, Arif, and everybody say, okay, we too are going to beat you. Then they say, oh, see, they're bad. They're going to beat us. It's very manipulative. And what I'm saying is that Biden and America and Britain have brought our world to the brink of destruction. And what happened in America was behind the coup attempt in Congo. They were behind it, and they caught American soldiers. They didn't kill them. And if it had been a black guys, they would have killed these guys. So my thing is that the West is, you know how in school somebody throws a pencil on your head, then you punch them, then the teacher punishes you, but they don't see who threw the first pencil. This is what the West is good for doing. They start wars all over the place, and then they create terrorists, and then they say, oh, these guys are evil. But we're going to continue with that. What are your thoughts, Afolabi? And I'm going to ask Warif, what are your thoughts on what we said so far about the right and movement and everything? What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah.
And also, I know that what's his name is here too. Salim is here. We're going to get to you, Salim, too. Yeah. So very quickly, what are your thoughts, Afolabi, about what we've talked about so much so far? Yeah.
Okay, just basically what I know about the right-wing political ideology, generally it encompasses a range of conservative and traditionalist views. And some of their policies are free market, basically, capitalism, which is in United States of America, for instance, the Republican Party is what we can call a right-wing political ideology. But there are certain things that I feel I really don't like about them. Like when it comes to immigration, they're usually very tough on immigration policies. The stricter immigration policies, but there's some good things that I feel they do that I think Nigeria can borrow from them, like deregulation of businesses. For instance,
yes, and also a lean towards traditionalism in decentralized areas. Continue. Sorry about that.
Absolutely. So when businesses are deregulated, sometimes it reduces or relinquishes government control over them. I remember the antitrust law that broke Rockefeller into pieces, and also Microsoft too. So those kind of
when will they break Dangote? Continue.
No, that's what really helped. That's what really helped us in Nigeria with Nitel. And then all that operators came into play, like MTN, Glo, and all whatnot. And so if they can use those kind of policies in areas like electricity and maybe crude and petroleum, it could actually help. But you can see that the Conservative Party of UK too, they're more like
they're getting stronger.
Political ideology. But because sorry to cut you, Mustafa, but because
continue. You're right. I cut you. You didn't cut me. I cut you. Sorry.
Yeah, because the ideologies range in intensity. Some are more far right than some. So you see that there are variations in their thinking. Some have restrictions on abortion, some don't. Some oppose same-sex marriage and stuff like that. But generally, they promote national identity and culture. Basically, that's what I feel.
Which is good, yeah. And what I will say is this, same thing with the ANC and with the Democratic Party in the US. They don't have an ideology at all. They are only about money. I respect DA more than I respect ANC, because DA still stands up for some traditions, and they stand up for the whites, and also they stand up for corporate. ANC stands for nothing. The Democratic Party in the US stands for nothing, which means they just do chaos. But what they do is they say, oh, we stand for abortion and gay rights, because they know it doesn't affect the free market and the real problem that's coming. Warif, what are your thoughts? Then we're going to go to Salim about what we said so far. Any thoughts you have? Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
Like what you said about Russia, France, and America, Britain. Well, what I would say is that I think the bottom line is supremacy, trying to control the war politics.
Yes. And all those guys are working together. Yeah.
Yes, and some countries, they make money from war. Like I was watching a movie this evening. One of the white guys said, when there is war, you make more business, you make more money.
Yeah.
So some of these countries, like in Nigeria, sometimes if they have issue, or maybe like those oil-rich countries like Kuwait or some other countries, when there is war, some countries might be, I don't want to mention them, they might be drilling their oil while there is war. Like somebody said, they can sponsor war, and they are the people that will be doing humanitarian services. Meanwhile, they're the ones sponsoring the war.
Very quickly. Sorry, very quickly. USA gave Nigeria $300 billion to fight Boko Haram, and they also pumping money to Boko Haram. That's just basically what they're saying. Continue.
That's a classic example. That's a classic example.
Yeah, and with that, so continue, Warif. Then we'll go to Salim, who's going to talk about PA and ANC. But continue, Warif, quickly. Yes, thank you.
Some countries, if you don't have what they need, they don't come to your country as peacekeeping force. They don't show interest in you. They don't show interest.
Yeah.
But once they see that there's something they need in you, that's when they'll come as peacekeeping force. But really, they're not just coming as peacekeeping force. They are there for what they will gain from the country. That's just it. So they should try and balance it up.
I agree. Also, Warif, I like your blue. I like your blue. Is that a robe? I like it very much. It's nice. The robe, the blue, is that the blue robe you're wearing? But no, I hear what you're saying. I'm just joking, but I like it anyway. You're like, everybody needs to know Warif is an artist and a designer. But what you're saying is true, and thank you very much because you brought up the idea. And I'm going to say something. I believe that South Africa and Nigeria should join BRICS, but I will also say that off of the Ukraine war, the U.S. has made a lot of money, and Putin has made a lot of money. Putin backs up Wagner, which are the mercenaries who fought in that war, and he's making money. But at the same time, Putin has shown respect to African countries because he knows he's a businessman. So, but we just have to be aware of that he's making money. But Putin hasn't attacked Africa because his main enemy is the US and Britain and those guys. And he also knows that if Africa prospers, China and Russia will prosper. But I'm going to repeat what I said, which is what Gaddafi said. At some point, we can do trade with China, we can do trade with Russia, we can do trade with America, but we have to have an African Union like the EU, and we have to have our own monetary system so that we don't have to beg Russia and China to help us. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Warif, for that point, because it's a very good point. Now we're going to go to Salim. How's it going, Salim? What's going on in Mpumalanga? Hey, my memory's getting better. I didn't drink too much wine today.
No, everything is okay. I couldn't complain
Okay, so
much.
very quickly, from what I've seen, is getting very funny. The PA with who's the leader of the PA? Mackenzie. That guy is a greedy.
Yes,
that guy wants money. He's against DA. He's against ANC. He's against all of them. He said, "You guys have to join me." ANC wants to bring PA into the coalition, but DA said no. You can't do it. And now we're beginning to see how they're now backstabbing each other. Give us more depth on it, Salim. Yeah.
One thing I could say, the DA wanted to be consulted first before the PA could actually be a part of the whole GU government. And Mackenzie's a loudmouth. He's a radicalist, if I'm correct. He's a very loudmouth. Yeah. And for the DA, he's a problem. He's a problem. And the ANC has a problem with one thing, that they don't want to always be looked at and being told that you have to consult us first. Before you make a decision, consult with us first. They don't want that. They say they're behaving like the big brother of the whole GU, and it's not supposed to work like that. You see, and it's going to be a very fun 5 year. It's going to be very funny this whole 5 years.
Okay, but here's what I have to say.
They're going to be running after each other, complaining, who's doing this and who's doing this wrong.
But here's what I have to say. It's supposed to be a coalition. Everybody is supposed to have come together. To me, I see PA as being like MK also. It's a populist movement. So if I'm right, Mackenzie, he represents the interests of colored people in the, am I right or am I wrong? Yeah. Colored, mostly colored, right?
Yeah. Sure. That's what he represents. But I mean what you're seeing as the DA coming through representing this kind of like bigger brother thing is basically white supremacist.
It's white supremacy, and also who gives them the right? Because sorry, I'm going to let you continue. Who gives DA the right to say consult us when ANC still has more votes than everybody else, even though they don't have the majority, they still have more votes. Why is DA to tell ANC you can't consult us? Which goes back to my point in which if ANC isn't careful, it's going to become a wing of DA. Continue. Sorry to cut you forward, but continue, Lorato. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the ANC is de facto now become a little wing of the DA agenda, like you say, because they did not have a center that was holding them apart from wanting to be, I don't know, some kind of like a socialist capitalist type of thing.
I'm going to give you a term you use. The term you use, they are anesthetic. Continue.
Yeah, they're an anesthetic, and now you sort of see also in how in how even parties that have been aligned with the ANC, like the Communist Party of SA, COSATU, having a problem because they are basically a workers' union party, and they're having issues with the posturing that the DA is taking, wanting to sort of put its hands into the labor ministry and the finance ministry and things like that.
And everybody is now not paying attention to Malema. And I'm very disappointed in Malema if he really shot a gun in public, because now they're going to use this against him to destabilize the EFF. What do you think about that? Lorato, what do you think? What I'm saying is that I think this thing, I don't know if Malema really did bring out a gun, but if he did, that's very irresponsible. But now they're going to use that to destabilize him and EFF, and I've always said, I believe that all of South Africa needs to have all of the parties together. I see 4 minutes we need to have all parties negotiating, which is what Mackenzie said. He said, this is a negotiation and we're going to find some balance.
Sure. Yeah, I think all parties are compromised. DA has a newly elected MP who's now facing racism charges with the Human Rights Council.
Yikes.
The ANC has the Pala thing. Paul Mashatile has some other who's the deputy of the ANC. So everyone sort of has skeletons in their closet that they're going to be throwing amongst each other within the GNU in order for some to sort of have a moral higher ground or something like that.
You're right. So we'll continue 30 more seconds and I'm going to close this out, but continue for 30 more seconds to round up what you want to say.
No, I mean that's all that there is to it. That all these skeletons are going to be used against, and it's basically going to be ego tripping, and this egotistic sort of political gameplay between.
And I'm going to go back to what you said. There needs to be another party. It's not really a party, but we need to have a people's labor union, people's interest. What was the word? I think it's People's Party or
People's Convention, a People's National Convention,
which keeps them in shape. Where we tell them, you're going to lose more votes. ANC, and I promise you, ANC will lose more votes next elections again if they don't please the people. But we need to come together to create our own agenda. And we need to be part of the war. I call it a war, but it's a good war in which we all negotiate. The people, the labor union, the people's interest, the people's convention, DA. We need to have the dialectic because that's the way the world works. Unfortunately, there's always going to be conflict, but we need to have that view. So I'm going to let you take us out with any last thoughts on that, Lorato, and then we're out.
No, I mean, the idea of a People's National Convention was supposed to precede this government of national unity, because it's supposed to be an open conversation where there would be consultation with people on what issues they need addressed most urgently, right? This idea of like I say, political sort of mudslinging that's happening is differing from issues that are on the table, and all these ideas are being ignored that have to be focused on, and like I said in all my earlier comments, that what we are seeing is part of a global agenda. You know, that the neoliberal agenda is strengthening, and it's showing itself even in the South African politics. It's showing itself in the Sahel. It's showing itself in India, and it's showing
Palestine, Israel, USA.
In Israel, and in the US you have Project 2025. That's pretty topical. So all those issues are things that I think we need to keep our eye on in how they're going to affect the continent, as we see them affecting SA now, in all these conversations that are happening.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Brilliant show. First time Warif and Lorato have been with us. Beautiful show. And we're going to continue this again next Friday or Saturday because this is very important. I want to thank Lorato, who's in Pretoria. I want to thank Warif, who's in Port Harcourt. I want to thank Port Harcourt. I want to thank Afolabi, who's in my hometown, Lagos. I want to thank me, who is in the capital of the whole stupid empire in America. And also to Salim. Thank you, guys. I hate to cut us short, but I appreciate everything you did.